This is trying to find iconic events to make ASEAN relevant to people, to make ASEAN relevant to young people on a day-to-day basis, on something that they can relate to, like sports. And moving forward, building on the government-to-government relationship, building on the business ties, building on the people-to-people relationship that we have and that we are starting today with a new generation of young leaders. We must strive for growth in ASEAN underpinned by certain shared values. And I think that is something that needs to guide this conference over the next 3 days. We must strive to push our governments to continue to invest in education, to invest in technical and vocational training, to invest in science, to invest in research, so that ASEAN countries, whether they are at the forefront of economic development or they are those who are still developing, can remain competitive, and the ASEAN region is seen as a region of innovation and creativity. We need to have empathy. We need to have empathy between ASEAN countries and within our own countries, to put ourselves in the place of other people. This is the best way to resolve disputes. This is the best way to avoid conflict, by having empathy to understand where the other person is coming from. Third, we must have a commitment towards social justice to ensure that the gap between ASEAN countries and within our own countries are closed, to ensure that marginalized communities are assisted, to ensure that no one is left behind. And this value must guide young people in trying to create an ASEAN community that is grounded on social justice. We must commit ourselves to good governance. What is ASEAN if not good governance? Respect for individuals, respect for its citizens, respect for the freedom for us to choose our future, and respect for law and the rule of law. We must be a region that shows that we believe in the hallmark of good governance within our countries. We must also have a strong understanding and respect for sovereignty. We want to make sure that the young generation of ASEAN leaders understand that ASEAN works when we respect the sovereignty of each other. We do not want ASEAN to be a flashpoint for geopolitical rivalry. We don't want ASEAN to be a region where we squabble over territorial disputes. We want to ensure that we focus on respect of sovereignty through multilateral consensus by discussing. This is the ASEAN way. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it takes a long time, but this is the ASEAN way that has worked for decades in ensuring that ASEAN is a zone of peace, prosperity, and progress. We strive to provide a holistic experience for all the delegates who've come to Kuala Lumpur today. I don't want you to just listen to experts, sit in the hall for 3 days, and enjoy the air conditioning in the conference hall. I don't want you to come here to listen without being listened to. So we've divided the summit into 3 sections: the plenary, the peer-to-peer dialogue, and the community-based project. Today, for the plenary, you'll be listening to prominent leaders and subject matter experts, and you'll be sharing with them your thoughts about what they have to say. Tomorrow, we'll be having the peer-to-peer dialogue divided into 2 parts. In the morning, first, scenario planning, where we'll give you a scenario to think your way out of. And secondly, where we ask you to think about recommendations that you want to propose to our leaders. After that, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to send you out there. I don't want you to stay in the conference hall. I want you to send you out there onto the field so that you can enjoy what it is to be a young leader that not only thinks, not only talks, but walks the talk and act out your vision. I'll send you out there with 13 of our experienced young NGOs in Malaysia to meet the local community based on our 4 pillars, to apply your theories and your assumptions that you've talked about over the last 1.5 days, but go out there onto the field and see the real world. All these sections, different format, different experiences and deliberations, will lead to one final outcome from this AYLS that I want to be the lasting legacy of this conference, which is the ASEAN Youth Manifesto. On Saturday, when the leaders gather for the ASEAN Summit, we've been given the honor to hand over the outcome of this AYLS to the chair of ASEAN, the Prime Minister of Malaysia.